Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6. The flooding has begun in the last episode, which is a little bit concerning because we're still quite a bit away from flood barriers. However, we might be able to save some of these critical tiles that we've lost in our empire, like over here. And when I say critical, I mean like they're not that important, but it would be nice to be able to keep them. So, getting computers for the 25% tourism boost across our empire and the flood barriers is our number one goal. Now, we do have a little bit of stuff to take care of. Namely, we just need to generate a ton of tourism, and we're working on broadcast centers, which I think will boost up our culture to the point where we should be able to finish out the culture tree quite a bit faster. In particular, we need to get to environmentalism as well as social media to boost up our tourism output. So we're kind of at what I would say to be like a mid-tier tourism output, and we will slowly but surely crank it up. But this game has gone quite... Why is there a great writer over here? Because I'm building an amphitheater. Yes, that does actually make sense. It has been a couple of days since I've played this save file. Namely because these days it's very hard for me to sit down and get a full game of Civ in. Just because my life is a little bit busier. But there's democracy. We'll go ahead and take democracy. Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. And of course, we will be plugging in the New Deal. We'll plug in Monarchic Legacy too, because it's a ton of diplomatic favor. I like keeping Republican Legacy in. And now we should be cranking on amenities. In fact, we probably don't need this many amenities. And maybe we would be better off with more growth and production from public transport, because we are going to be building our neighborhoods. So that kind of feels a little bit better to me. I do like the idea of having Machiavellianism in for now. And then the thing that I would maybe put in is either Diplomatic League, or perhaps I could plug in something like +4 influence from open borders. That kind of feels quite nice. I like the idea of losing levy en masse for military research. I like that 18 science there. 18 science, not too much, but I do like to get that little bit of extra science in. And I think generally I'm pretty happy with this setup. We probably don't need public works in my empire anymore, actually. Now that I think about that, it's probably not necessary. The real question is, what the hell do we put in here if we haven't really built any districts? I suppose we could plug in aesthetics for that 6 extra culture, but that doesn't feel like much. Maybe I'd be better off with the gold and faith from triangular trade, and that feels quite good to me. We are, of course, lacking on trade routes, but that's mostly just due to a lack of gold. And in terms of who we're trading with, we've got Norway, we've got Persia, we've got Ethiopia, Aztecs, and Portugal. So I think the only person that we are missing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Wait, who are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're missing 2 people. We're not trading with Spain. Okay, so we need to get a trade route with Spain, basically. There we go. We shall trade with Valencia, and we'll get +10 gold from that. But more importantly, we get the 25% tourism pressure. And then the only person left is Germany. We are going to want to pick up cultural heritage to get extra tourism from great works of art and artifacts. Speaking of artifacts, we have an empty museum in Shadet. Now, is that just a case of, the archaeologist just simply hasn't finished in there? And what about art? And we have another 3 art museums. So I have, how many cities do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I am missing a theatre square somewhere. Let me just quickly go through my city list. Is it the city of Apu? Yes. Okay, Apu just finished its theatre square, so we need to get an amphitheatre. Perhaps I can trade away some of my luxury resources in order to get my hands on that. There we go. We'll buy the amphitheatre, and then we can just... what do we have? Yeah, we'll probably go for the archaeological museum. So let me see. Can I trade anything else? So we'll see, like I don't need this coal, for example. I could trade that away for a bunch of raw gold, and that is absolutely the play that we're going to do. And then, but in doing so, we should now be able to purchase the archaeological museum. And then the icing on the cake would be if we could buy the archaeologist. We only need another 400 gold, so I'm wondering if I can maybe sell off a little bit of Diplo favor and grab myself some cash. Lovely. That is the exact play that we wanted to do. So we went from basically no theatre square last turn to a fully built, at least for this stage of the game for my empire, theatre square. I am going to go ahead and hard build the shipyard in here. That'll keep this city busy. Could I swap any more tiles? I will take another tile to keep this city a little bit stronger on production, and that should shave 4 turns off that. So we'll have this shipyard soon, which will hopefully supercharge all these coastal tiles that they're working. And then that city will be able to do much more with much less. Extract another artifact. I think I'll take a Menelik one. It should be, let me see, artifacts. There you are. And I will click on theming, and we want 3 things with the same color but different numbers. So Memphis is now themed. Memphis is my capital, right? No, Rakadeth is my capital. And I believe that this city has Pingala with the curator promotion. And so technically, these should generate more tourism in here. Oh, it doesn't work for artifacts. Okay, so I've learned something useful here. Is that you should put an art museum in your capital. Okay, I actually didn't know that that was how that worked, which is interesting because I didn't know that doesn't double great works of... I don't know how long I've been playing this game, but you learn things over a period of time. So I'm going to create the portrait of Johann Joachim, which will theme the Museum of Swinet, and I think it was made by Angelica Kaufman. I'm going to sell off Anna Maria and see how much I can get for it, because I need to get rid of a couple of my great works because they're not easy to theme. Archaeologist finished in Shadeth. This will be my final archaeologist. No, my second last archaeologist. No, potentially my third last. But the map, all the archaeological sites on the map have kind of been used up. There's still a few floating around, but it's definitely, they're more thin on the ground than they have been previously. I would like to get one more naturalist, I think. Or is my naturalist already on the way? Yeah, I already have a naturalist on the way. So that will be secured. I'll get my broadcast centers. Broadcast centers are worth 9 culture per turn if powered. Mine won't be powered, unfortunately. However, that's not important. What is important is that we are doing really well on the culture victory. Except that Menelik is just generating an absurd amount of culture per turn. 500 per turn is very hard to break. But we are now getting broadcast centers, which will mean we should now start getting great works in music. And speaking of great works, I should really have a look at my actual whole gallery. And I see there's 2 spots for great works of writing. I will then come over here. I don't need any luxuries, but I may as well buy them just to keep my amenities giga high. I want 2 great works of writing, so I'll buy 1 and 2. And then I would like, what else do we need? I'd like another sculpture. If someone had one knocking around. Donatello and Donatello. What do you have? Just got Donatello and a relic. Okay, I don't need that. What do you have, Menelik? You've got Michelangelo, which I already have, and Donatello, which I already have. Unlucky. You do have a couple of great works of music that I could nab off you, and I absolutely will be nabbing them as soon as possible. Looks like this was an open borders turn. All of my open borders agreements just expired, and so I'm going to go ahead and open up the list and go through and get open borders with every single one of my good friends on this map. And the nice thing about open borders is it also keeps your relationship with these people nice and high. There we go. The last open border deal has been signed, and we can use Secret Tact's global relations thing to check that indeed we do have mutual open borders signed with every civ in the game. Let's go ahead and pop down a national park. That is the last one that we will be building this game, at least on our current land. There's no seaside national parks, although, or sea-based national parks, although that would be kind of neat if it were at all possible. Computers are happening next turn, so I'm going to want to prioritize building the flood barriers in every single city that I can. So, perfect. With computers, our tourism per turn will jump. We will be plugging in heritage tourism. I'll drop triangular trade and I'll get an extra 45 base tourism from heritage tourism, which feels pretty darn good. I'll go ahead and confirm this. I check computers. I get 25% tourism and flood barriers. Let's go to every city with threatened tiles. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is going to take 86 turns. I need to get an encampment and get a great engineer, or get just a military engineer. This is really bad. I didn't realize so many of your tiles were flooded. Why is this so expensive? It's a 1400 production flood barrier. Oh good sweet Jesus Christ. Okay, I need another governor title so that I can place an unfortunate encampment here, but it's a necessary encampment. There are no governor titles available for a while. Shit. Okay, place the encampment, build it, and we will just hard build that encampment as soon as possible. I'm going to tell you to, you're focusing on food and production. I'm going to tell you to focus exclusively on production. I'm going to take every tile that has a shred of production on it into this city's borders. That will bring this down to a 6-turn encampment, which is kind of, maybe, we're going to deal with some sea level rise here. We absolutely are. There's no point in building these flood barriers. I could build them in certain cities, like here. This city can build it in a reasonable amount of time. But like this one, 16 turns is also reasonable. Anything above, I would say like, yeah, even 20 turns feels really unreasonable. But yeah, like 47 turns on these flood barriers. Damn. I did not realize how vulnerable my empire was to flooding, but it definitely feels necessary to fix that problem. But with the advent of computers, we can go ahead and maybe learn some more text, like maybe we could fit a Golden Gate Bridge in somewhere. This would give 100% tourism improvements and national parks, which I think that is just by definition a really damn good upgrade to me. Let's go ahead and rush environmentalism so we can get that 25% based tourism across our empire. We're currently generating about 1,000 tourism per turn. We need to get up to 1,600 tourism per turn against each player in order to take this number, truncate the first half of it. So like take the first number, right? It's a 6. So I need to generate this many tourists per turn, 6 tourists per turn, just to stay on pace with Menelik. So you're starting to see the problem. And I need, there's 8 players in this game. So it's 200 times 8, which is 1,600. I need 1,600 per player to generate a tourist, which means I need to be generating, that's just to slowly climb, to slowly climb. So rock bands are going to be the name of the game from here on out. All right, let's see if we could send a rock band to Menelik. I heavily suspect he will plug in the music censorship card basically the second that a rock band appears in his borders. But that doesn't mean we might not get at least a single shot of a rock band in his borders. So it's worth the attempt. I do feel like, I have these games where everything is going fine until some AI just like got like an impossibly good position. Like there's nobody around him. I could have been moved like 6 tiles to the left and up, and it would have been fine. I could have been moved up here, would have been fine. But the fact that he got all this land, it allowed him to just giga hyper snowball. Okay, so let's name this rock band the Angry Suzerains, and we will take the promotion Glam Rock. Glam Rock is one of the best promotions. I would argue that it is the best, because it gives you the best chance to level up a rock band. I'm going to try to keep buying rock bands and send them where they belong. We did find Halong Bay. We do have a Golden Age secured, so we could probably get Wish You Were Here in the next era, which will be really, really nice for our thingies. But it's really not nice for my capital, which I did not know needed flood barriers. Good God, I need this encampment so badly. So many of my tiles are at risk. So many of my floodplain tiles are at risk. This particular map mod actually allows your floodplains to be flooded. Okay, performance in space. Yeah, I'll take the spaceports and campuses. That's like a second-rate one. It's like pretty okay, not amazing. I fully expect my rock bands to be kicked out of these borders. I don't know why Spain denounced me. I should probably get friendships with everyone. If Spain decides to declare war on me, it's going to be slightly upsetting. But if I declare friendships on people, that does mean that they can't declare war on me for 30 turns. All right, let's go ahead and play with 26% chance that he dies, and he died. Hopefully the next rock band does slightly better. We want to target Menelik with our rock bands, because he's the person generating the most defensive tourists, and rock bands are targeted Navy SEAL Team 6 for when it comes to tourism, right? They attack one person. Did I just say, I meant to say Navy SEAL Team 6, but I said Neil Team 6, because the guy I play D&D with, right? By the way, save or die. We have a new D&D channel. Morbers will do something to show it off. Neil Team 6 is like a meme from Koibu. Neil, his community. But I meant to say SEAL Team 6. Rock bands are SEAL Team 6 for tourism. They go into the enemy territory and they generate a whole bunch of tourism. Let's have a look here. Majority religion. God, what a terrible one. These are all awful. These are all terrible. Really, I'm getting really bad rolls. It's not looking good for Team Potato's going to win the game, but that's okay. I'm okay with not winning the game. I felt like this was a weak build in anyway, and I've got a better version of the build cooking. I'm probably going to play the other 2 leaders before I come back to this, but I got something cooking. Boom. Let's go ahead and play a band. The unit immediately dies. It's looking grim, guys. It's looking grim on the tourism front. It's getting worse. There's combustion and rapid deployment. If I flick back and forth, I mean, we're gaining, but are we gaining fast enough? I don't think so. All right, let's sell off. I think I could probably sell off my luxuries pretty comfortably here and end up with a ton of cash. But I'm just going to sell off all this because I have to do a really big purchase this turn. I got to return some videotapes and I got to do some very, very important things naturally. And the thing that I need to do is to come over here to the city of Memphis, immediately buy a barracks and an armory. This city will chain build military engineers, and I will be aiming to purchase a military engineer in this city every single turn so that I can try to finish some of these flood barriers before the world goes to hell. I guess the next phase of my development is just to continue to like allow my cities to level up slightly. Like if I pick up replaceable parts, my cities get better and bide our time. All right, let's go ahead and do a theater square here. 1,000 tourism, 50-50 chance of death, and he died. All right, rock band it is. Are you starting to see my problem with rock bands? My problem with rock bands is they're just kind of bad. Menelik and Germany are just about to both be on the second phase of the science victory. So that is not amazing tidings. Everyone wants to buy my great works here, which is maybe they feel a little bit threatened. God, he's up to 572. It's actually just absurd. He's up to 700 culture per turn. This means nuclear war. It's the only way. I have to kill him. Yep, I have to kill him. I have to build a broad coalition and murder him. All right, I'm pretty sure this theater square is actually cursed. Okay, wait, one of them survived. 4th tier performance. Not the worst thing in the world. It's not great, but it ain't the worst thing in the world. Right, Hamadi, go ahead and grab that, my good... Ooh, a flintlock pistol. We're feeling good about that. My archaeologist absolutely will be digging up inside your territory, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right, let's go ahead and come up here. Check our artifact museums, because I think we might be able to get away with a couple of more themes. Potentially. We do a little theming, a little scheming. So what we want is same color, different numbers. So this is not possible. Perhaps I could trade away my scroll for another ancient era artifact. Let's have a little look here. Do I have to have space? I think I have to have space. So let me sell off the scroll, okay? I'm gonna sell off the scroll. Boom. And now I want to buy artifact. I'm looking for something ancient era. Is barbarians acceptable? I've got Menelik and I've got Cleopatra. So barbarians is acceptable for this. I will take your stone tablet. Thank you, sir. And then that's another themed museum. Taking a look at this museum, I need to get rid of this clock and look for another industrial era artifact. So we sell the clock and it's not worth much. And then we look for maybe another industrial era artifact. It cannot be made by either Philip or Zhao. So I need another type of industrial era artifact. Okay. So what have you got in your bank? You've got a doubloon. These are all Renaissance, which could serve me well, but doesn't currently. What about the Aztecs? What do you got cooking? Nothing right now. Nader Shah, have you got any industrial era? You got a lot of relics, but not what I'm looking for. Not what I am looking for. I wonder how we got so many relics. Kind of curious that. Okay, let's sell off the one of my barbarian axes. I could probably sell off both of my barbarian axes here, realistically. I'm going to do that. Germany can take both of my barbarian axes. That means I've freed up space to shuffle things around a little. I need a classical era artifact that doesn't come from barbarians or Harold, which should be a fairly straightforward purchase. Okay, so Philip and Zhao can't be. So Zhao, who did you get this necklace from? Ooh, that is perfect. I will take that necklace because I think that will allow me to theme this museum. Why can't I, Wait, you're joking. Oh, that is so stupid. I filled these museums, but they're not detecting as being full. So I can't move things into them. And I need to get another archaeologist. Hold on. I need to undo this turn because that is so... So I can't buy an artifact unless I have room in my empire for more artifacts. And in order to make room for my artifacts, I have to empty out my archaeological museums to gain a spot, which then means I need to buy an archaeologist to get... That's... No. Basically, because I've never really bothered to optimize this system before when I played the game. So like... Also, re-rolling actually got me a better promotion than that guy somehow. Listen. Unintentional benefits, okay? I did not mean for that to happen. But, yeah, that's crazy. So basically, the problem is, I wanted to move... this artifact out of here so I could put a new one in. But if I sell off my artifacts, then this counts as a no longer full museum, which is really dumb. So I need to swap an axe. I need to redo this. I need to I don't know how I messed this up. What happened? I can't believe I have to open a goddamn notepad here so I know what I can swap safely. Okay, I did a swap with Spain, which should leave me with another themed museum. I need to theme 3 more. And then I can get another swap in with Zhao here, which should theoretically There's another museum theme. So I need 2 more themes. So I need to get rid of this axe. Maybe I could theme the archaeological museum, get an ancient artifact. I'll trade a scroll for something. Here's a trade deal with Menelik. And I even... Oh, nope, no cash from that one. Okay. And then that should be my 4th museum themed. I just need to get this archaeological museum in Apu themed. So that'll be a little bit more complicated because these ones were just like single swaps to get these themed. And it's super worth it to theme these, by the way. They go from like 18 average tourism produced to 27, which I think is a pretty damn good upgrade. Remember, that's base tourism. That's before any special modifiers are applied. Things like trade routes, all that stuff gets applied later. I think I can move on. One of my museums not being themed is not the end of the world. Broken envoys and, 3,000 tourism. That's actually now, a little bit of confidence has re-entered my spine here. You're telling me there's a chance. Unfortunately, I think the next phase of flooding just happened. We did just get environmentalism, which will trigger a 25% tourism boost. We've got 2 turns on the flooding, which means we are going to suffer some mild flood damage. Had to do a quick reload of the game to get my graphics to load in properly. I've got my broadcast center, my floodplain in here. I definitely want to get my shopping mall. That's 4 tourism per turn in there. And since I now have a Great Work of Music slot, I will go ahead and look to purchase a Great Work of Music. Boosh and skadoosh. We are up to 200 out of 600 tourists per turn. I think flooding just got worse, which means some of this flooding is now permanent, which is really unfortunate. We might be able to claw back a little chunk of this, but it's gonna be tough. Let's do another rock consort and... Oh, wait, actually, you guys lived. You guys are doing really surprisingly well. Good job. We found the non-cursed tiles of his empire to do gigs on. So theoretically, we are going into a golden age, and it's going to be a really, really good golden age for us because we can get Wish You Were Here. Cities with governors receive plus 50% tourism from World Wonders. I Sleep, the really important part here is 100% tourism to all national parks. So if we can get online communities, we might actually be able to pull a win here. By the skin of our teeth. It's going to be a very close run thing, but it's within the realm of possibility. Gig on the pyramids. Come on, please level up. Don't die. Okay, at least it was a good gig and he didn't die. We need to slow... I can't believe he hasn't plugged in music censorship. It's actually blowing my mind. Maybe they only plug it in when you're actually threatening to be close on a win. He's definitely unlocked it. Just doesn't seem to want to plug it in. I'm not complaining about that, by the way. All right, 50-50 chance that you die, and you die. Okay, but you did manage to generate a really good amount of tourism on the way to your death. And honestly, is there anything else that a rocker wants to do than to rock out on the way to hell? We do have access to James Joyce now, another great writer. I don't think I actually have room for great writers. No, we're kind of out of slots. Not a big deal. I'm considering selling off my sculptures and replacing them with an actual useful great work here because they're just not doing it for me. This is a museum I could fill with real art. So let's have a look at great works of, I don't know, landscapes. We do have 3 unique works of art here, so let me sell off my sculptures. I don't care who gets them, and I'll buy 3 different great works of art, and that should, in theory, theme this museum, which is an awful lot better of a position than we were in a few turns ago. We're also making 2,000 tourism per turn. After multipliers, that's looking like it's 3,000 tourism per turn, so we're almost at the 2 tourist per player per turn mark, which basically means we're going to get 14 tourists per turn. He's generating 8, so we're gaining on him very, very slowly. We're very, very slowly gaining on Menelik. Once we have once we have satellite broadcasts for even more base tourism, and then online communities, we might see us start to close the gap for real. I don't know if we can win before a space race happens though. But there is the space race policy. I'm going to go ahead and drop the amenities from Republican Legacy. I have some in national parks. I don't think I need it. I probably don't need New Deal. But I'm going to plug in satellite broadcast. It's only 8 tourism right now, but that's super worth it in my opinion. I'm also going to take logistics so I can move my units around a little bit more efficiently. And I need to keep buying military engineers because there's a ton of flood barriers that are not yet complete. My broadcast center in Shadet is done, which means I'm going to go ahead and head over here and look to purchase myself another great work of music, particularly from Menelik. I want to sort of deprive him of as many great works as possible. And I don't know if my trade routes can reach Germany yet. Let's have a look. Available routes. I want to say destination to Germany. No, I cannot reach Germany yet. Unlucky, so I'll have to wait a little bit longer before I get these trade routes. I guess I could theoretically, I could get one more trader and then kind of sit on that. We have our theater square, we have our preserve. Has the city built a neighborhood? That's the real question here. The city has not built a neighborhood, and there's a few viable tiles for a neighborhood here. I would say right here is totally fine. It's not interrupting anything, and we'll be able to get a tiny shred of more tourism from that. Now, it would have been super nice for the loyalty in this city to tank, because if I could get Cartagena, I could rework this terrain. Can I do something sneaky here? I mean, Skeedsmo is flipping, and I think it's got the most pressure from me. Unfortunately, there's a giant lake here, although technically it's a sea, so there's no actual lake tiles. But the Menelik here, I would have loved to have flipped some of these cities through loyalty. Thebes is the only city exerting loyalty pressure, and he seems to be consistently hitting normal ages. The fact that Portugal hit a dark age, it would have been amazing if one of my neighbors hit a dark age and I could expand into them with loyalty. But we did get our flood barriers in Memphis, so the tiles in here are defended, and we're making diplomatic favor hand over fist here to sell off to the AI. 37% chance these guys die, and they managed to survive. 3,500 tourism. I'm very happy with that. Slowly pushing the envelope when it comes to what's acceptable in the music industry. All right, let's do another gig on the pyramids, and this is really good. We are generating a somewhat inconsistent but high amounts of tourism against Menelik, public enemy number 1 when it comes to tourism. I'm starting to believe Morpheus is whispering in my ear sweet nothings about data and ones and zeros and whether or not I'm the chosen one. What are we looking at here, boys? But you always got to have a backup plan, and I've got a very explosive backup plan. 50-50 shot. Let's have a look. Unit died, but 3,000 tourism is based. Super good result. We did get access to professional sports, so getting a couple of ski resorts. We really should build a stadio, because if Menelik builds it, okay, it's being built by Greece. I'm okay with Greece building this. This is one of the best wonders in the game to defend against a culture victory. Because someone told me, and I still haven't actually tested this, but apparently that 6 culture applies to every city. I could be wrong though, but it's an amazing cultural defense tool, just mainly because the amenities are insane. So broadcast center is completed in the capital. We definitely want to get a national history museum. We definitely want to get a food market alongside various other things. So we've got our work cut out for us here. Right, flood barriers in Swenet will come up, which is fantastic. I don't think I need any more military engineers. I think we're going to hit the flood barrier timing perfectly here, but I do need to do some repairs. Some of my cities are a little bit dinged up as a result of the flooding, but we've managed to pull a Netherlands and get ourselves to be the premier flood defense civ in the game. Let's say my win condition happens in 48 turns. I'm actually in shock. I can't believe it. How am I actually winning? I didn't think I was going to... I genuinely thought this build was... Okay, music censorship is kicked in. That's going to make the game harder. Not impossible, but it's going to make it a lot harder. So now he views me as a threat. He sees me as someone who can actually win a victory, which is honestly really nice. Here's the thing though, I only really have until the end of this era. So I've got to win in 33 turns, or I don't think I can win this game, because I'm mostly being carried by the fact that my national parks are being doubled right now. So I need to get to social media and get as many rock band successes in places like Spain as possible. That's going to be it for me though for this episode. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.